One of the things we need to do at the beginning of each school year is we need to make sure we have active haiku pages filled with the rosters of the students in those courses. If you'd like to use pages from a previous year, there are a couple of things you need to do in order to make sure those pages are ready to go and will not fail either you or the students during the year. What you were asked to do at the end of last year is to make your pages inactive and then save a copy. You simply cannot move students into pages from last year. That will cause problems for both you and the students. So what we need to do is make sure that we create new copies of the old content. This way you still don't have to reinvent the wheel, and yet it makes it nice and fresh and helps really limit the possibility of access issues. So let's imagine for a moment that you didn't make your pages inactive and you didn't make new copies of them at the end of last year. Let's say, for example, that is what this page is. It's my page from last year that is still in the active group that I haven't made a copy of. So I'm going to do a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it inactive. That's fine. It doesn't need to be accessible. Once it's inactive, it disappears from my active page list, which makes sense. I'm then going to go to my inactive page and maybe have a bit of a moment of panic because I don't see it here. Well, that's because what's listed here are my pages for the 2015-2016 school year. That page was from last year. So I have to go down and choose last year from the list, scroll down from all my pages from last year, and there it is. So I'm going to go and I'm going to manage this class and choose Save As. And Save As will allow me to grab all the content from that page. So I want to make a new class from it, not a template. I want all the page content and I want all the calendar events, the assignments, the grade books, blah, blah, blah. Even though we don't use some of these features, I tend to grab them all to make sure I haven't missed anything. I'm going to click Next. What am I going to name it? I am going to add to the name of it this school year. And that way I know when I'm going back through my old pages what the content was for. It's in Crescent School. And again, you can make sure the year is set for this year so that it goes into the right place. Looks awfully empty. I did more work than this last year. I know that. I just can't see it because it still needs to refresh. A lot of content to copy over. It doesn't always happen immediately. But in the name of impatience, I'm going to click refresh. And here's the content I had last year. One of the things I'm going to need to do for this page is I'm going to need to make sure I have the right rosters in here. So I'm going to go over to Manage Class, Edit Roster. Even though I did have multiple sections in the page from last year, those have gone because when you make a copy, it removes references to previous rosters. So I'm going to create sections. And you want to create sections if you're the only teacher and you have multiple sections of those students, or if there are multiple teachers using the same haiku pages. I have clicked Edit Section and changed it to Section 1 because we use numbers, not letters. And I'll show you that again. I'm going to go to Section B, click Edit, change that to Section 2. Now, what I'd like to do is import students. Jan will have already imported all the class lists into Haiku, so all I really need to do is go into those lists of hers and bring those students in. Now, the tricky thing here is that at the time of making this video, she actually hasn't done the import yet. I am instead going to use the summer school students. Don't you do this. Make sure you go in and choose 2015-2016. The other thing you probably will want to do is choose only your classes, because that way you only see the list of the students who are associated with classes that you teach. And in case you got to this point without double checking your section, you can check it up here to make sure you're importing the right students into the right section. So having changed the year to the summer, which you shouldn't have to do, I'm going to click Search. And here are all the summer school courses. I'm going to choose this course because there are fewest number of students to import. And this is really important. Make sure that you choose Link. When you choose Link, if the student population in your class changes, it will automatically change in Haiku. So if a student goes and changes their timetable, Haiku will take care of whether or not they should still be in your section seeing your Haiku pages. So make sure you choose Link, not one-time import. There's my student list. I'm going to click Import Students. And here they are. So there are my students in my section. Notice a little chain link to indicate that I've linked them with the import from Jan. So let's assume I've done all my sections rosters. I've got students who can now see my page, except they can't because my page is inactive. Now, I don't see the place here to change it active, so I may have to scroll down a little bit. There we go. Now I can see the bottom of the list, make active. Just because you copied it over and made it part of the 2015-2016 school year does not automatically mean it is active. So I'm going to click active. I would like it to be forever, and yes, I would like it only to be for the people in the class roster. Parents are automatically included in your class roster as soon as you add the students, so they will be able to see it. As always, if you have any questions or concerns about the use of technology, please don't hesitate to let me know, and also please do try to have a great day.